Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening everyone, and welcome back to another Pilot Stud Microsoft Flight Sim news video. Today the video mostly focuses on the 757, as it has been a year since that add-on was announced to the world for development on Microsoft Flight Sim. So they've released a very nice video. I'll be unpacking all of that today. On top of that, we've also got some scenery releases, so without further delay, allow us to get right into it. Okay, so first off, we're going to start off with the news from Bluebird Simulations, who of course are working on the Boeing 757 for Microsoft Flight Sim, which will be payware. Now, they've released a 12-minute long video on their YouTube channel, and this video was split into two halves. The first half discusses frequently asked questions, and the second half previews VNAV capability in the 757 by Bluebird Simulations. Shall we first off get into the frequently asked questions? First off, let's talk about release dates, seeing as this is one of the first things he answers in that video. It's still on track for a Q3 to Q4 release date of 2023, so either towards the middle end of the year, towards the end of the year. Hopefully, if all goes to plan, we should see this payware 757. Now, the initial release won't be exactly where they want it to be. Of course, it's a rolling upgrade job after that point, much like it has been with the likes of the PMDG 737 and Phoenix A320. Bluebird Simulations, in collaboration with development teams such as Just Flight, will update this product into the future past initial release. That leads me nicely onto system complexity. At the start of this project, when it was announced a year ago, we were told that this was sort of going to be a mid-fidelity product. That, of course, is incredibly ambiguous, as they say on the video, so there has been some clarification. The aim at initial release will be the ability to operate the aircraft under normal operations. Still somewhat ambiguous, but it means you should be able to simulate true-to-life airliner flying, ignoring, of course, extraordinary events, which I'd imagine entail some failures and the more in-depth parts of the systems, you know, especially when they rely on each other. I don't imagine we're going to see that at the start. I think it'll be more binary. I don't think we're going to see the level of fidelity some of you might know with the Phoenix A320, where, you know, you actually have different hotspots in the cockpit, and having different things on can increase or decrease the temperature, for example. On the initial release, it seems to me that it's going to be more binary, more on and off, and therefore system complexity, while it will be complex, is not going to be what they call study level, at least at the start. However, normal operations does include a fully functional FMS, fully functional LNAV and VNAV, which is lateral navigation and vertical navigation, for those of you who do not know, a fully modelled APU, electric systems, pneumatic systems, cabin altitude pressurization systems, and IRS, which is of course the inertial reference system. For those of you who don't know, that's basically so the plane can figure out where it is in comparison to the world around it. Not everything is going to be modelled 100% to real life, but it's something that they're going to work on into the future. In all honesty, for a new development team, I would much prefer for them to get the product out, as long as it's affordable, and to go on it from there. But in my opinion, I am glad they are at least honest with how complex these systems are going to be upon initial release, and I look forward to seeing it. Moving over, speaking about the initial release once again, the variants we'll be getting will be the passenger 757-200 and 300, either with the Pratt & Whitney or Rolls-Royce E4 engines, so a nice selection there, and you'll also be able to decide between winglet and non-winglet. A cargo variant will be coming along in the future, but that will not be released as part of the initial release, and that will be as a paid upgrade. Now, speaking of price there, it remains still hidden. My personal prediction is anywhere from $30 to $40 in my own opinion. While all upgrades and updates into the future will be free, the one exception being the cargo expansion pack, which, as I said, will be a paid extra. You're not going to ever have to pay for an upgrade to your passenger 757 when you buy it at initial release, unlike some developers who thought it would be funny to try that out with the community not too long ago. Do I have to say much more there? Moving over onto the initial release, in terms of what we can expect in the cockpit, they will have cathode ray tube screens, which has got that fantastic curve. For those of you who don't know, I've made a quirky little graphic which I'm showing you on the screen now. Basically, really old monitors that were used in the original 757, but in the future LCD screens will be released in the pipeline, which most of you will be more familiar with. You might even be staring at one now. And as far as I can tell, the initial release will also have a virtual cabin. Now there is most of the frequently asked questions answered on this video via, of course, Bluebird Simulations video. There's also some other points to touch on, like the fact that Xbox release is still planned, although this will not coincide with PC initial release at the moment. There will be a slight delay there, and of course, we've got everything we'd come to expect with a payware aircraft as well. They've committed to custom sounds, custom flight models, and everything I've spoken about prior. There's the 5 minutes of frequently asked questions out of the way. If you've got any queries, they do say you can reach out to them via Facebook or email, but shall we address the second half of that video? It showcases the 757's VNAV capability. The aircraft begins a descent down towards a waypoint, abiding by all constraints, altitude and speed. Something you may notice is that the cockpit doesn't look too good. They acknowledge this, and they do say that with the advice of some people from Fly-by-Wire, they've worked on a new cockpit, and although they haven't previewed it yet, it does look a lot better than the one you're seeing in this video. As far as the video goes, it is very clearly work in progress, but I have to say those curved cathode ray tube screens do really stand out and are looking really cool. Maybe that's personal preference. In terms of how the autopilot flies, it's a relatively simple descent down, so we're not getting, I'm not getting too blown away, but it's nice to see it's all working. The plane, as expected, is following all constraints, and it looks like to me that the FMC is nicely linked well up to the navigation display. Nothing sticks out, except for the fact that some of the ECAS displays don't look like they're displaying all the data, but to be honest, the focus of the video is VNAV, not everything around it. Clearly this project is still very much work in progress, but it was great to get this 1 year update video where they answer some questions many of us might have. What do you guys think? We should see this project by the end of the year released on PC and hopefully Xbox. I personally am very excited for it. Leave your thoughts down below. What I really like about this team is that they're honest. They're not trying to overpromise, because that means they might very well underdeliver at that point. And that's something that's really a green flag to me. I really do like it when developers do that. Honesty is the best policy, and they're definitely not trying to sell us something that doesn't exist. So definitely some brownie points from me there. On that note, guys, if you'd like to take a more in-depth look, do check out the video. But yes, I'd just like to say well done to the Bluebird Simulations team. You've done a fantastic job, and I'm sure you're going to be busy over the next few months. On that note, let's move over to some smaller bits of news. Burning Blue Designs have released Damis Hall Airdrome for Microsoft Flight Sim on PC. This comes in at a price of £11 UK. I've been previewing it at the start and this part of the video. It's a fairly small grass strip aerodrome located in London on the Essex-London border, not too far from me, so I imagine it'll be somewhere I fly into when I do eventually get my PPL. Really nice if you like that type of flying, and you can pick it up right now off the Burning Blue Design store. I imagine it'll be released for both PC and Xbox via the marketplace as soon as Asobo allow it. AnyBuilds have announced they're working on Oklahoma City Will Rogers Airport for Microsoft Flight Sim. I swear on my life, AnyBuilds do never stop, they must be so busy. This airport, which is relatively mid-sized for a major US airport, handles around 4 million passengers per year. It will not be long until it's released. It's set to be released in the next few days, so if you fly in that part of the world, it may interest you. I'd expect nothing less from the AnyBuilds team, or the AnyScene team I should say. In this case, it looks rather beautiful. And finally, Aerosoft, in collaboration with ClearProp Studios, have released Bavarian Airfield 2 for Microsoft Flight Sim. This is a rather nice package that introduces 7 handcrafted general aviation airfields into Bavaria in Germany. You can buy this as a bundle or the airfield separately. As a bundle you're paying €30, or as an individually priced airfield you're paying around €6 to €8 per airfield depending on what one you choose. So if you're flying this part of the world a lot, I would just recommend you buy the €30 package as you're getting a good bang for your buck. Have you tried Bavarian Airfield 2 by Clearprop Studios in partnership with Aerosoft out? Do let me know below. And finally, for those of you that are always asking in the comments what kit I use to fly, film and edit, you can now easily have a look with my new Amazon store. I do earn commission through links through here, but the price remains exactly the same. It's got everything from some of my PC components to flight sim hardware to flying gear to studio gear. So do take a look if you're interested. On that note guys, have a fantastic day. It's been a pleasure having you. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll see you around. Have a good one. Bye bye.